You know, for years, the public cloud had this big promise, didn't it? Cut costs, less operational burden.
Oh, absolutely. And in the early days, for many, it really seemed to deliver on that. Simple, effective.
But then things started getting, well, more complex. Businesses grew, needs changed.
Exactly. And relying on just one provider, suddenly that didn't feel quite so strategic anymore. People started looking around.
Which is where multi-cloud really started picking up steam, right?
Yeah, that drive for flexibility, avoiding vendor lock-in, optimizing for specific workloads.
And then you get something like the economic shifts we saw back in 2020.
Yeah.
A real curveball.
Right. And suddenly adaptability, that ability to shift resources fast, became paramount. Multi-cloud seemed to offer that agility.
And it's a big but. It brought this massive challenge. How do you actually track where all that cloud money is going?
Yeah.
It got surprisingly difficult.
Yeah, opaque is a good word for it. You had organizations juggling these complex setups across different providers, but the actual visibility into the spending, it was murky,
Trying to tie those costs back to specific business apps or outcomes, forget about it sometimes.
Precisely. The basic questions: when are we spending? How? What are we using? And why they often just didn't have clear answers.
And that's really the crux of it today, isn't it? Just being on the cloud?
Yeah.
That's not the goal anymore.
Not at all. To really get the value, you need that sharp, clear view into your spending. You need insights you can act on.
Financial adaptability, basically. So in this deep dive, we're going to dig into some really critical visibility options. Things finance teams absolutely need for managing multi-cloud costs effectively.
And a lot of our discussion today is framed around how cloud financial operations, or FinOps, has evolved. We'll be touching on the capabilities of a platform now known as AI Mock Cloud FinOps.
Okay, let's unpack that. Thinking about finance teams.
Yeah.
It might not be the first place people look when thinking about cloud success.
But it probably should be. I mean, think about it. A well-oiled finance function. That's core to any efficient company, right? Now layer on the cloud. All those infrastructure choices, constant financial decisions, needing to adjust on the fly, stuff the cloud providers don't always surface easily.
Suddenly finance is right in the thick of it, making sure the cloud investment actually pays off. Their role becomes absolutely critical.
It's the sheer volume of decisions, too. It's not just the upfront cost. It's the ongoing optimization, scaling up, scaling down, picking service tiers across maybe AWS, Azure, GCP.
Way beyond what you had with traditional on-prem setups, it demands a different level of insight, doesn't it?
Totally. Real time, almost.
Yeah.
So where do you even start to get a grip on all this?
Well, one foundational piece has to be historical visibility, looking back.
Exactly. Historical visibility. It's just what it sounds like. Access to your past cloud usage and spending data, all of it.
And it's not just like dusty archives, right? It's about using that past data to understand the present and plan the future.
Precisely. You need to spot the trends, identify those cost patterns that keep showing up, really understand what drove costs during certain periods.
Like having a financial map of your cloud journey. What's normal? What was that weird spike last quarter? Why did that happen?
And once finance teams have that context, then they can make genuinely data-driven decisions. They can see if optimization efforts actually worked, plan resource allocation better,
and make sure it all lines up with what the business is actually trying to achieve.
Yeah.
You mentioned linking, say, a marketing campaign to database costs.
Yeah, exactly. Did costs jump when that campaign launched? Were the resources tagged right? Did we scale efficiently? History tells you that.
And this is where something like AI My Cloud FinOps comes in. I gather their Cost Explorer provides this history right from the start. From day one of your tenancy.
That's the idea, yes. Having that complete historical record immediately available gives you a really solid base for analysis. You can set meaningful benchmarks, track progress properly.
Understand your cloud spending DNA, as you put it.
Right, and that leads directly to better efficiency, tighter financial control, and just getting more value out of the cloud spend.
Okay, so history is crucial. But managing costs for one cloud is tough enough. What about when you're juggling multiple providers? Multi-cloud visibility.
Yeah, this is absolutely key in today's world. You just can't manage your total cloud bill effectively if you're looking at each provider in a silo.
You need the big picture.
You need the comprehensive, unified view of all the expenses, no matter which cloud they're running on. AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, others. all together.
Makes sense. You need to compare, right? See where you might have overlaps, or maybe one provider is just cheaper for certain things.
Exactly. And AI Mock Cloud FinOps, for instance, is built to help with that. Analyzing cost trends across providers, seeing spending patterns within each, understanding how each one contributes to the total bill.
So you can make smarter choices about your overall multi-cloud strategy. Is this mix working? Should we shift workloads?
Those kinds of informed decisions, yeah. And you mentioned AI Mock Cloud FinOps delivering this via a single pane of glass. What's the real win there?
The single pane of glass. It sounds buzzwordy, but the benefit is pretty straightforward. Simplification.
Okay.
Instead of logging into like 5 different consoles, pulling reports, trying to stitch them together in the spreadsheet.
Which sounds like a nightmare.
Right. You get one consolidated view. All your cloud costs right there. It just streamlines the whole analysis process massively.
Making it easier to spot those savings opportunities that might be hidden otherwise.
Exactly. Things you'd miss looking at clouds one by one. It's about efficiency across the whole footprint, making sure spending aligns with business goals everywhere.
Okay, so we've got history covered and we've got the cross-cloud view. What about like right now and comparing now to, say, last month?
Good point. That continuous monitoring piece. That's where visibility into current and previous period costs comes in.
Because cloud is so dynamic, isn't it? Costs can change really fast. You can't just wait for a monthly report.
No way. You need to see what you're spending now compared to last week, last month, maybe even this time last year. See those spikes as they happen, or hopefully before they get too big.
Allows for quick intervention if something looks off.
Precisely. And again, looking at AI Mock Cloud FinOps, this capability is just integrated. It's designed to be effortless to pull up that current versus past data.
So finance isn't spending all its time just finding the numbers. They can actually analyze them.
That's the goal. Minimum effort to stay informed. Now, another big word in FinOps is accountability. How does visibility help there?
Accountability. Yeah, fundamentally, it's about making sure the right teams, the right people know what they're using and what it costs, and crucially feel responsible for it.
But they can only be responsible if they can actually see the data in a way that makes sense to them, right?
Exactly. The data needs to be accessible, yes, but also easy to understand and navigate for everyone involved, not just finance gurus.
And this seems to be where that user-friendly maneuvering by perspectives in AI Mock Cloud FinOps comes in. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Imagine this. You want to see usage, costs, maybe some insights, but you want to slice it instantly. By service, maybe by region or resource type, or, critically, by the team or the person who owns that resource.
And you can do that with just, like, a click.
That's the promise. That level of filtering service, region, type, owner, cost center, whatever, combined with being super easy to switch between those views, that's what helps build that accountability culture.
So if I see database costs spiking, I can click, and see exactly which project team is driving that.
That's the idea, yeah. And that